Hello everyone, good evening, and welcome to Hate Live. I'm Darkside Phil, duh, and tonight is Thursday, September 11th, 2014. I welcome you very much to this episode of Hate Live. I'm still experimenting with lighting and with different things. The lighting is different yet again this week, I know. I can't find like the perfect lighting scheme, and I actually do have some lights in the closet that I'm eventually going to set up better lighting, like a light up here and stuff, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I promise you I will eventually once things slow down a little bit, okay? So welcome to Hate Live, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you very much for being here, whether you're live on stream on Twitch TV or you're watching on YouTube. This is going to be a very eventful night, a very news-filled night regarding me and my content and my future. But before we get to any of that, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to any of that distracting stuff, we do have to take a moment to reflect, I myself especially as an American, as today is September 11th. Today is the anniversary of one of the most shocking, most awful events in American history, at least when it comes to like modern history, terrorism-wise. 9/11, September 11th, 2001, with the Twin Towers and the horrible things that happened. I'm not going to go into detail about what happened because I think we all know, and we, at this point, 13 years later to reflect back and say, man, it was that long ago? Yeah, I mean, and my life was so different back then. I still remember on that day, I was at home with my mom because I lived with my parents at that point. I was actually commuting to and from college, and it happened to be my day off from school. I didn't have any classes that day. That semester, I somehow had made the schedule so that I didn't have classes on a certain day. And I remember it was my day off, and my mom and I used to like to go out and do stuff. Like we would go out to the mall, we would go get something to eat, maybe see a movie together on days off every once in a while. And I actually remember that, I turned on the TV and I was like, wow, what is going on? And it was like terror, but it was also not fear for me, because I lived in Connecticut, and I didn't think, that anything was going to happen to me or my family, because luckily for me, I was one of the lucky ones who I didn't know anyone or wasn't related to anyone who was directly affected by the 9/11 terror attacks, but just a feeling of uncertainty, like, wow, what is going to happen next? If they can take out the World Trade Center and then they can attack the Pentagon, they could attack anything, and what are they going to go after next? And is this the big change that everyone's been talking about, revolution? Or because at that point we didn't know what was happening, who had done it or anything. I didn't know what to think. And I remember my mom and I were just kind of so shell-shocked, and we were like, well, we can just sit here and we can watch the TV in terror, or we can go out and live our lives, go about our lives normally, because that's really what, obviously what they wanted to do with those attacks was disrupt our way of life. And so we did. We actually ended up going out to the mall, if you can believe it, because we actually went and talked to a friend of ours. My friend, his name is VJ, and I worked for him. He's the owner of a fast food place. I've talked about it before, this health food place that he had in the mall. And we went and we're just kind of talking to people we knew in the mall. And because I had worked in the mall for 4 years, I knew a significant amount of people in the mall about what was going on. And everyone was kind of like, wow, shell-shocked, what's happening? And then incidentally, they closed the mall. They closed all businesses that day because it was just such a crazy thing. And I don't know, for me, it was just like a surreal moment. I don't have any direct things to tell you about. I certainly was in the lucky ones. Like I said, I know a few people, more than a few people who I personally knew at the time, had people who were directly affected, some who lost people in those terror attacks. And obviously, our hearts and minds go out to anyone who was directly affected. I thank goodness that, our American way of life wasn't so much changed by those attacks, although you see it every day. You go to the airport, man, and boy, are things different now than they used to be. Because it used to be airport, you just run right through the security check, you're on the plane. No, now it's so different with screenings and scannings and pat-downs and all kinds of stuff. And in many ways, our way of life in regards to travel has changed because directly as an effect of that horrendous attack. So it's worth it to open the show and at least take a moment to reflect on it and get it out of the way, because I know people will be in people's hearts and minds today. And obviously, again, my sympathy goes out to anyone who was affected by those attacks. I mean, we all were affected, but anyone who maybe lost someone in those attacks. And there you go. All right. We got it out of the way. So that way we can now kind of relax a little bit. because I was feeling a little tense today about it as well. So let's talk, because tonight's Hate Live is going to be a little bit different than usual, because I got some really serious stuff to talk to you guys about in regards to a few different things. In particular, some stuff that's been going on in the past couple of days, I guess. I actually didn't even know too much about it until this morning, and next thing I know, people were contacting me about, did you hear that this happened? And I was like, no, I had no idea. In fact, when I had done this particular video pre-stream that I had done, I had no idea that people were going to take it in a way like that, and basically it was going to blow up into something that I didn't intend. So I'm going to talk about that today. We're going to talk a little bit about myself. I'm going to, for those of you who maybe in recent years have started watching me and my content, or maybe just recently, this is one of the first things you've seen. I don't know. I don't know how often new people jump in and watch my stuff, or how often that you would even know that I talk about certain things. But I'm going to give you a very basic understanding of who I am and what that moniker that everyone gave me, the King of Hate, what that means, because I think a lot of people misinterpret that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some upcoming changes that are coming to my content. Some are coming right away as a direct response to feedback that I'm receiving, that I think that immediately these could be positive changes that people would want. Some of them are going to be kind of mid-range, and some of them are going to be in the long run, okay? So all that, we're going to talk about all that tonight on Hate Live. We also are going to talk about, obviously, what's going on with gaming. All this week I've been playing Destiny. I'm going to give you my honest feelings on Destiny as a game and tell you what I think about it so far. I am going to talk about what's going to be coming up later this week and next week and in the next couple of weeks in relation to gaming and new content coming out, and what to expect from me. And then we're going to talk about the one big news story of the week, which everyone's talking about, this, Microsoft that, Minecraft this, Minecraft that, and I know a lot of people don't know the whole situation. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and what it could actually mean for Microsoft and Minecraft. And then we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. There will be a Back in the Day segment on this episode of Hate Live, where I'm going to be talking about my high school years, the rebellious years. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the years that a lot of people are a little ashamed of and don't like to talk about too much. I at least could say they weren't so bad, although I would like to tell you about some of the crazy stuff that I used to do with my friends. I'm going to be talking about drinking and smoking. Yes, I am going to be mentioning marijuana. Yes, I will admit that I did inhale. Unlike Bill Clinton, I will be willing to admit that I did inhale. And we're going to talk about some of that. So a lot of that stuff, that's going to be the Back in the Day segment, and I think that's going to be a pretty unique one that people would pretty much like. Okay. And then we will have live callers at the very end of the show. I can't guarantee you how long that segment will be, because we have to see how long it takes to actually get to that. And being that we have a lot of serious content to talk about tonight, there may be potential that, that gets squished to the end, but we'll see. That will be near the end of the show. Okay. So, all right, everyone. Let's talk turkey. I'm going to give you very briefly, and a very brief and summarized explanation of who I am, what I do, why I do it, how I fell into this, what the King of Hate moniker means, and then I've got something to say in direct response to some stuff that's been said and that's going on, okay? My name is Phil Burnell, and my whole life I loved being games. I was a gamer. I started out with the NES, the Super NES, and everything through the 90s, but then I got hooked by Street Fighter and became this real hardcore Street Fighter player during the late 90s into early 2000s, and then so much so around, I'd say, 2005 to 2007, that is all I did. So even though I was a big fan of games, and I have a lot of information in relation to games because I grew up during that era when games were becoming huge, at the same time, there's a lot of stuff from the 2000s that I have a gap in my life because I didn't really play the games then. I was playing Street Fighter, okay? In 2007, I was diagnosed with a serious back injury. Basically, the fact that my back, I had a severely herniated disc in the lower back. Doctors gave me a diagnosis that you have two options. You can either have very risky surgery that literally it's like a 50-50 chance. You could get much better, you could get much worse. It might not work at all. Or you could change your lifestyle, okay, to basically adjust for the fact that you're going to have back pain for the rest of your life. And at that point, that was 2007, I chose to just adjust for the back pain. And I said I needed to start doing stuff that was less physical. At that point in my life, I was playing football a lot, basketball, different things, physical things with my friends. And I had to stop doing it because I couldn't do it anymore because I could have risk of damaging my back further, including long drives I couldn't do anymore, all kinds of stuff that I used to do, carry heavy objects. You know, I'm a big guy. I'm 6 feet tall, so for me it was like, man, to not be a physical guy was a big change in my life for me, a shift. And so I decided I wanted to get back into console gaming, not so much Street Fighter, but console gaming in general. And so that year of 2007 to 2008, I really got heavily back into video games. And at the end of 2008, just on a whim, I grabbed a camera, I recorded myself playing a video game on my TV, I uploaded it to YouTube, and within 6 months, all my videos had gone viral. People absolutely loved what I was doing. We're like, wow, here's a guy who's playing games, and he's doing full, you know, sometimes full playthroughs, sometimes just footage. He's doing live commentary, which a lot of people weren't doing at the time. And he's playing the new releases, and this is fun. And for me, I saw it as a hobby. And so through 2008, 2009, and even somewhat into 2010, my popularity on YouTube grew for being the kind of the Joe Average gamer, the guy who wasn't very good at games, but he could play the games, and it was entertaining to watch him play and fail and rage at the games and do playthroughs of games. I never took it seriously until I lost my full-time job in 2010. I was laid off, and there were no job prospects back in Connecticut for anything that I was doing. And I said, well, I need to find something that I can do. And I said, well, right now the only big thing I got going for me is YouTube. And at that point, I hadn't made any money doing YouTube or anything like that. So I actually got some of my channels partnered on YouTube. Eventually, I got partnered with a third-party company named Machinima. Machinima slaps their ads on my videos, and I'm able to put out video content every day. I make money. They make money. We're all happy. And it's been great. Since 2011, when Machinima signed me, there's been a few bumps along the road, I'm not going to lie. There's been, you know, all kinds of stuff going on that has hindered me, that has not allowed me to maybe grow the way that I wanted. In fact, I'll be honest, you know, those golden days of back when Let's Players were huge are kind of gone. It's kind of the old thing to be a Let's Player. Now things are going on to more heavily stylized, edited videos and stuff like that. And I understand that, right? But I think that over the years there's been some misconceptions about me that really have unfortunately negatively affected me, because people either hear it and it sounds like one thing and it's not, and I completely understand that, or you've got a group of people who say things that have a nugget of truth in them, but then they blow it out of proportion and people don't understand the real me, alright? The first thing that I want to address is the moniker, the King of Hate, because I get this all the time, people saying, oh, you can't take criticism, but your name's the King of Hate and all this, and I'm like, that's not what the King of Hate means. It doesn't mean that I sit here and I hate on people all day, or I hate on a game, or I hate on this. That's not even at all what it means. What it means is very much this. Before I ever went on YouTube, I was an outspoken person. I've been an outspoken person my whole life, all right? A lot of the times, my opinion is not in line with the mainstream opinion. In fact, a lot of the times, it's out of alignment with the mainstream opinion for different reasons. Maybe because I'm cynical, because I'm a lot more apprehensive than a lot of other people, or because I think that I tend to have a way to see through things for what they really are. And back when I was part of the competitive Street Fighter community, I got into a lot of hot water because people would say he's too outspoken. He talks, you know, he talks all this junk, and he basically he's a rabble rouser. I rouse up the rabble, which means the common people who don't know these things that are happening behind the scenes. I was almost like a whistleblower in the Street Fighter community. I was highly involved in tournaments where people were it was rigged and people weren't getting paid what they were supposed to, when people at Shoryuken.com were basically generally lying to everyone about things that they were doing. I would call them out on it, and I got into a lot of trouble for it, and basically a lot of people hated me, but at the same time there were people who respected me for being the one who was going to be the outspoken individual, who was willing to step up and take that hate because he wanted the truth to be known. And so people were calling him, he's the King of Hate. He gets hated on by everyone, but he owns it, and then he goes and he plays in tournaments and he still does well, even though he's an outspoken individual that a lot of mainstream people don't like, okay? And so when I went on YouTube and I started this whole thing and I became Mr. Popular on YouTube, that was like so out of the ordinary for me. Seriously, like those years, what was it, 2009 to 2011, I would say. Remember I used to say I'm riding the wave of popularity, the wave of success, because that was so out of the ordinary for me in my life, because I had already in one community, this Street Fighter community, people had said, oh, we don't like that. We people who are more mainstream and they just agree with everyone and they go along with consensus and they don't try to rouse up people or anything like that. And that's never been me. Any of you who watch my content on YouTube over the years, you know that's not me. That is so like not me to be that kind of person. I am the person. I will call bullshit when I see it. I will try to rouse up people if there's issues that people need to know about. I am that kind of person. So, you know, a lot of people have issue with that, and a lot of people misconstrue that King of Hate moniker. They think, oh, it's because he hates on everything. No, it's because actually people hate me for being such an outspoken individual, and I take that hate and I kind of hone it, and I use it as my fuel, because people say I can't succeed at something, I succeed at it. And in life so far, that's worked. At Street Fighter, I succeeded when I was serious about it and wanted to be a tournament level player. I went and I placed highly at tournaments that I went to, and on YouTube, when I damn well, what are you doing just playing games? You're not editing your videos, and you're not doing this and that. And guess what? I was successful at it. And you know, now I live in Washington in a nice house with my girlfriend, and it's such a different experience from where I started. Okay? So I want you guys to understand that I am so appreciative of the fact that it was you who watched my videos, that it was you who made all this possible over the years. Whether or not you are a current fan, whether you're a former fan, whether you're someone who doesn't like me anymore, you guys made this possible, right? I made the content, but you watched it. I could have been making the videos and they went into oblivion and got 2 views, but you were the ones who said, I like this guy, I like his personality, I like that he's outspoken, I like that he makes fun of the games and he rages during his playthroughs, I like it, and that's how I got to where I am, okay? So that's a little preface of what we're about to talk about. So basically, there has seemed to be this consensus now on YouTube, okay? And I'm not even going to just say on YouTube, because I think it's also on my forums on thekingofhate.com and various other places, that apparently I can't take criticism, and I don't like it when people criticize me, and I take all criticism as hate, regardless of if it's meant to be constructive or not. And the fact that basically I mistreat people, and I'm very bad with my fans, and I'm like this horrible person who does not appreciate his fan base. To which I say this, alright? First of all, if you feel that way, I'm very sorry. Because obviously people just overnight don't feel that way, alright? Maybe there was some kind of a growing thing that happened that just built up over time. Alright, and because I never addressed it, or because maybe there was a direct interaction where you got banned from Twitter, or I called you out on stream chat, or something happened in particular that put a stick up your butt about me, right? And I apologize for that, because I know there's tons of people who apparently are in that boat. Now, on the flip side of this, there are other people who basically are just immature and did do nasty stuff, like, for example, would go on Twitter and say something really insulting to me. You're an asshole. Fuck you. And I blocked them. Oh, he blocked me. Now I'm going to make videos about it and shit like that, okay? And there's people out there who are, you know, slandering my name. We're not going to address that tonight, because this slander and the bullshit is stuff that's always going to happen. It's always going to be there, and that's not the people who I care about. I care about people who care about me, or at least cared about me at one point, okay? What it's become apparent at this point is that people feel like they can't reach me, that they don't know if they think that there's something that's a positive change that I can implement, or there's something that really is bugging them, or something that I did wrong and they really feel strongly about it. They don't feel like there's a way that they can reach me anymore, because it seems that there's just so much of it that people, Phil's just going to block me, or Phil won't listen, or whatever. The first thing I have to say is this. I said this before, but it does need to be brought up again, all right? I'm one person, and you guys are thousands of people, all right? And I know I say that because I'm going to say, on average, Hate Live gets, you know, a couple hundred viewers. Right now we've got about 600 viewers on the stream, and with, you know, the thousands of people who watch it on YouTube. I'm one person. I don't have a filter by which, when you tell me things, that I can tell, oh, this is someone who actually cares about me, or, oh, this is an asshole who's just swearing at me and has no actual intention to help me, all right? And that's the problem right now. If I had a filter, a means by which, oh, these people who actually care, and here's real productive criticism that they're trying to help with, versus here's people that just don't really give a shit and they're just trying to be malicious and nasty. And I don't have that, okay? So I wish there was a filter by which I could edit out the crap and get to the quality stuff. What I will tell you is this: the past day at least that I've been on thekingofhate.com, okay, I've been having some discussions this afternoon in particular with some people, forum users who have been around for a while, some of which haven't been around for a long time, but have been watching my content and basically are giving me constructive feedback. And they're like amazed that not only am I reading it, but I'm directly responding to it and listening to it and not getting angry, all right? because that's kind of a misconception about me that everyone has, that I'm going to go flip off the handle and freak out and embarrass you on stream if you give me something productive. That's not the case. The problem is I don't know what's being serious and what's not, because I've got all this white noise out there. So if you feel like I've slighted you, if you feel like I've ignored you, I apologize. I wish that I could directly talk to each person one-on-one and find out what the concerns and issues were with me or my content or my behavior and get it sorted out, okay? What I will say is this. I am fully aware that over the years since 2008, first of all, many people don't know this, I've made about 40,000 videos. If you actually add up all the video content that I've done on my DSP gaming channel, on my vlogging channels, on my old alternate channels, on everywhere, I've probably done about 40,000 videos. And if you add up the amount, I couldn't even possibly add up the amount of time, amount of hours that I've shared myself with you guys, whether it was through vlogs, through gameplay, whatever it was, all right? And the bottom line is that I am a human, and I do realize that I do have some anger issues, right? And sometimes when something's really important to me or I'm really emotionally upset about something, I go off the hill and I say absolutely ridiculous things like all League of Legends players are brainless morons, or oh, Minecraft, who would play Minecraft? That's a kiddie game, and why would you fucking play that? You have to be an idiot, all right? Over the years I've said stuff like that. But you have to understand that I'm a human and I don't actually mean that as Bible truth. That maybe it's a situation where I'm mad at something or I'm upset, and you say things that maybe you don't necessarily mean. You go overboard, right? And I've apologized for a few of these things over the years. I can't apologize for every single one because sometimes I don't even realize if and when I'm saying it, okay? The bottom line is there always is an actual meaning or intention behind the things that I say. The problem is that when I'm in that emotional moment, I don't always say it like that. I don't say what I mean because it's shooting out of my mouth faster than it's processing in my head, okay? And this happens with everyone. It's not, trust me, no, everyone does it. The difference is I'm Phil Burnell. I'm Darkside Phil. I'm the one who broadcasts that to the internet, and thousands of people see it. So you can be in your own house and say, oh, fuck League of Legends players and that, and no one gives a crap, right? If I say it, I take massive flack because I said it publicly, even though I didn't mean it, all right? So I need you guys to understand that I am human, and I do apologize that there are times when I do go off the hilt, and I do say ridiculous things. Now, there's different ways to go about it. You can say, Phil, you really shouldn't have said that. Did you really mean that about that? Or you can go take a snippet of a stream chat where I typed that one day in a moment of anger because I was trying to stream and Twitch didn't work because there was a 200,000 viewer League of Legends stream destroying the website. You could take the screen capture of the fucking stream chat and make a video about it. DSP hates League of Legends players. Fuck DSP. He's a little shit. And then it goes viral and 10,000 people see it, and now everyone thinks that I'm some kind of a jerk because of one thing that I did in 6 years. Okay? That's the difference. There's the mature way to go about it because you actually want things to change, and there's the incredibly immature, kiddie way to do it to get views for yourself. That's the difference in the approaches that people take. Okay? So that being said, I do apologize to anyone who feels like I have attacked you, personally targeted you. I do admit that it's happened, and I obviously admit that there's different times in my life, these past 2 months in particular, where I say 2 now it's actually 3. These past 3 months in particular, since I moved to Washington, you know, I've been incredibly stressed. I've been on edge because I'm trying to get settled in, and there's all this stuff happening at once, and you guys hear about it. You guys hear about it daily on my pre-streams when I bitch like an old fart, you know, that, oh, this happened to me today, and this happened to me today, and that's one of the major things that we're going to talk about tonight that is going to change. But anyway, you know, you hear me complain about stuff all the time, and all these real-life, real-world things are happening to me that weren't part of my normal life back when I was the bachelor back in Connecticut. Life was easy, right? I paid the bills. I go grab some food once a day. I didn't have to worry about registering a car in another state and all these healthcare issues and the problems with the house and this and that. And things very quickly have changed, and really it's starting to settle in now that this is my adult life. And I hate to say that because I am the kind of person that I want to feel like I'm very young. You know what I mean? I want to feel like I'm the young, vibrant, you know, guy who can jump at a moment's notice and run out and do something quick and be energetic and be vibrant and be young. And I'm 32 years old and I'm really not that young anymore. All right, it's finally settling in that I am an adult, that, you know, even though my job and my hobby is fun and games, that my life is not all fun and games, right? That there's going to be all this stuff. And, you know, I apologize to anyone in the past couple of months who's just like, Phil, every time I go on your stream, you're bitching about this, you're bitching about that, you're bitching about the game, you're bitching about bitching. Sorry. You're right. It's been a lot. It's been a lot on me, and it's been a lot weighing on my shoulders, and it feels good to actually come out and say that to you guys, that I'm sorry for it, because I am, and I don't mean to be an overbearing negative asshole, okay? If anything, I'm glad that I didn't direct it in a wrong direction. At least if I'm bitching about my everyday problems, I'm not bitching about views and money and haters, but I was still bitching. So it doesn't matter what I'm bitching. If I'm bitching, right? And, you know, I come to that realization talking to some people over the past couple of days. I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. This is something that I need to address, and this is something that I need to change, because people don't want to attend the DSP Bitch Fest, right? They want to attend the DSP gaming stream. Or if you want to hear the Bitch Fest, tune into Hate Live, where I'll tell you what's going on in my personal stuff, but you want to see gameplay. You don't care about fucking my trash can didn't get emptied for 4 months or whatever, and there's fucking smelly bugs or whatever. Who cares, right? If you want to hear about that, you'll watch the podcast. If you want to see gameplay, you watch the gameplay. And you're right. 1,000,000% you people are right who've been criticizing me for that. I agree 1,000,000%, all right? Now, recently, what I do want to say is this. I do admit that these past couple of weeks have been very stressful for me, because we are heading right now into the busiest time of the year for gaming, the hardcore gaming season, okay? And as you guys know, I moved to Washington, I incurred a lot of debt to make this house work, and I had a slow-ass summer, because there was nothing going this summer. We know this. There were no games this summer. The games that people played were few and far between. Of course, some people do criticize me and say, Phil, why didn't you play these PC games? There were a few PC games that came out that you could have checked out. Well, first of all, I did. I played a few PC games, and they didn't turn out well at all. People didn't like them, okay? And in particular, there were a couple that I really didn't like. But you have to understand that I was here, I was just getting set up. I wasn't ready to fully jump full-fledged into PC gaming. If anything, I just did Sims 4 for a week, and that was kind of difficult, but at the same time, I'm learning, okay, it's easier now for me to capture PC games, and here's how I can do it easier on the fly and stuff like that, okay? But coming out of 2 months where it was really freaking dead, and then heading into the hardcore gaming season, and I had all these big ideas. I'm going to start capturing and live streaming the Nintendo 3DS. And I think this will catch on, because this is something different. This isn't out of my comfort zone. This isn't something that, you know, an overabundance of people are doing right now. Yes, there are people who do it, but it's not like normal Let's Players. Normal Let's Players, there's 5 zillion of them. There's, 100 people who maybe do, good Nintendo 3DS playthroughs? So I thought I could maybe jump into that. And me, again, being outside of my comfort zone, trying out new things like Sims 4 and stuff. I'm going to be honest with you guys. None of the stuff has really caught on. And for me, it's not too disheartening about me. And what I mean by that is, if you look at stuff that did do well, right? Like The Walking Dead Season 2 did great. Just like every episode of The Walking Dead. They always do great. People have told me since day one, Phil, we love to see you play narrative-driven games, because number one, you're a great addition to the story with your commentary and your takes on what could possibly be going on in the game as it's going on. And we really like to see your reactions when crazy stuff happens in a narrative-driven game. And especially if it's a game like The Walking Dead, people like to see my choices in the game, okay? So in that regard, it wasn't like I didn't do anything that was successful this summer. No, that's not the truth. The truth is that when something great came out, it did really well because people wanted to see me play that style of game. The problem is, there aren't a lot of narrative-driven games out there anymore. If you actually take a look at all the games that I'm just playing recently. The Sims 4 has no story. You make your own story, right? Destiny literally has a bare-bones story. It's all repetitive grinding gameplay. Look at the stuff that I'm doing, all right? And I can't make games. I can't develop a game, and I know that there are probably great narrative-driven games out there, but I have to also have variety in my content. If I only do narrative-driven games, then what happens when they run out, right? So for me, coming out of a stressful move, all these real-world problems that have been attacking me, 2 months of really just boredom because there wasn't a lot going on during this summer. And now heading into the hardcore gaming season, and here we are basically 2 weeks into it, and nothing's really caught on with anyone. In fact, if anything, a lot of people think the games are disappointing. It got to me, you know? And you hear me sit here and I'm bitching, oh, I'm doing Leighton versus Wright, and I'm so pissed because the views are low, and, you know, and that's stupid, because people don't want to hear a baby bitch about views. Okay? I know that there's those of you out there that care about me, right? You care that I get to continue doing this and that my business is successful and that I keep getting to do this in the long term, because keep in mind, now I live in Seattle. What does that mean? That means that for the next couple of years, you're going to see me attending cool events like Emerald City Comic Con, and maybe I can get into PAX Prime, and maybe I can get into other cool events here. Guess what? I live on the West Coast. That means I can go south down to California to attend cool events, and I can cover those for you guys. And now that I have the office, I'm doing better gameplay on the PC, meaning much higher quality. I can make it look better, and there's all these PC games. I know Witcher 3 is going to look amazing on PC, and people want to see me do all, you want to see me succeed so that I can get to that point, but I have to get to that point. And it's a lot on me, and it wears me out, okay? It wears me the fuck out. And it does it in particular with a game like Leighton versus Wright, where I am really going the extra mile, in my opinion, doing the voice acting. And a lot of people say, how does voice acting, you're just reading the lines, how does that strain your voice, okay? Because I'm not just talking. Right now I'm just talking normally. It's easy. I am changing my vocal cords and reflecting a British accent, high pitch, low pitch. It actually very stressful. Ask any voice talent how stressful it is, how taxing it is on their voice, and they'll tell you it's a really tough thing to do. And I'm trying to do it for this playthrough because people requested it. In the past, I did it with other Phoenix Wright games, and I started doing it, and in the beginning, the playthrough kind of caught on, and then all of a sudden, the viewership dropped off to almost nothing. I can't even get my normal numbers for a stream. I can't get, you know, very decent views on YouTube, right? And so obviously it gets to me when that happens. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You know, I'm really going the extra mile, and it seems like people fell off somewhere. They watch some of it and then they don't care about it anymore. And it's hard for me for a game like that. By the way, the game is over 30 hours long, and I've already played 16 hours, so I don't want to give up on it. It gets to me. But you don't need to hear that, okay? You don't. You're the viewer of the content. You're the person who wants to just watch and enjoy the gameplay. You don't want to hear about my personal problems on a daily basis. You don't care that I fucking stubbed my toe on a rock on the way across the street, and that pissed me off. So when I came in and I sat down and Twitch wasn't working, I said that League of Legends players are assholes. You don't want to hear me that do that. I know that. The problem is I need to be better at it. I need to be better at focusing my anger and focusing my bitching and not putting it all on you guys. And I know there's some of you that are saying, but Phil, that's the relationship that we have, and we love that you are that personable with us. We feel like you're our friend rather than a content creator because you share your life. You say that you're the realest dude on the internet. Well, you know, that's what we like about you. I know that, but at the same time, there's people who don't want to hear that. And so I can't overabundantly give you that shit, okay? I can't. I can't put it on you. So I apologize for anyone who's been hearing me bitch, who's, you know, hearing me be negative and say these ridiculous things. I apologize because it is. It's me being stressed and being emotional and not having control of myself in the moment, and it leads to ridiculousness. And that's why you can go watch the idiots who go make the montage videos of, oh, did you see that DSP in 2009 said that Minecraft is bad and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, when I was uninformed in 2009, I didn't know what the fuck Minecraft even was, and someone gave me misinformation about the game on a random episode of Ask the King. It might not have even been that. It might have been my fan mail series. I made a stupid remark about, wow, Notch must be dumb if he's giving the game away for free and stuff like that. But to think that, you know, oh, well, Phil hates Minecraft players, and that's what you hear. And, of course, that's in a snippet of truth from a moment of foolishness on my part. And, of course, no, I don't think that anyone who plays Minecraft is an idiot. Obviously, the thing's a huge viral fucking thing. It's the biggest video game probably of all time. If you actually see dollar signs, how much money Minecraft has made through merch, through sales, through every fucking platform on the planet, I could probably play Minecraft on my ass right now if I wanted to. They'd probably have a port for the ass. So I'd have to be a moron to think that Minecraft is not, you know, is not something that was popular or was good. But unfortunately, I'm human, and I make mistakes, and I'm here to wholeheartedly apologize to any of you who I may have insulted over the years. And keep in mind, you know, I try my best to keep in touch with people's feelings and to find out what's going on, but there are times when I don't. And I fully understand that there's a forum right now that I pay for. Earlier this year, I paid thousands of dollars to get these forums, thekingofhate.com, up and running and owning them. I actually owned them for the first time. And then immediately after I did that, I got caught up with work, with buying this place, and I didn't really go back. And there's a whole forum full of people there, hundreds of people, who feel neglected because I didn't go back, I didn't discuss stuff with them, and they have all these feelings towards me that they could help me improve, and I didn't take any of their input because I was too fucking busy with myself, okay? I'm willing to admit that. Excuse me. So, now that I've gotten that out of the way, I've gotten that off my chest, effective immediately, we've got some changes that are going to be going into effect, okay? And there's going to be some cool new changes for kind of the midterm and also the long term. So let's talk, because I think you're going to like these, all right? Effective immediately. No longer will there be 15 to 30-minute long pre-streams before I start gaming. If I go live on a broadcast on Twitch TV, I will be playing that game within, say, 10 to 15 minutes tops, okay? Only exception being if there's something incredibly important that I need to mention or if I'm having technical difficulties. And also effective immediately, when the streams go live, you're not going to hear me bitching about my personal life. The bottom line is, I know there's people that there are people that want to hear that. You want to hear what's going on with Phil, what are the things that he's come up against. A lot of people have even expressed, Phil, thank you for relating those things to us because you help us in life as we grow up. We're coming up against the same changes, and to know that you came up against the same thing and hear your solution of how it got resolved directly helped us. So by no means am I saying to you guys, excuse me, that I am not going to relate that stuff. However, guess where that's going to happen? Right here on Hate Live. That's going to be part of the first segment of Hate Live, where it should be, where I tell you, gee, what was I up to this week? Well, this happened with the trash, and this happened with this, and this was a technical difficulty. Not that you're sitting there with your thumb up your ass waiting for me to start playing a game. It's dumb. I agree. It's fucking stupid. And I need to control myself and have self-control, not just want to bitch all day. So that's effective immediately. Shorter pre-streams, no bitching on the pre-streams about personal shit, all right? If you want to hear about all my personal stuff going on, watch Hate Live. That's where you're going to get caught up on it, all right? If in the meantime, if there is no Hate Live for a couple weeks for whatever circumstances, maybe I'll do a special video, but it's not going to be in the pre-stream, so you're all sitting there, what the fuck happened? Why is he doing this, okay? So that's number one, okay? Number two, there's something that I've had as an idea in my head for a long time, all right? There's something that I hate to say it, because you know me, I don't like to follow the YouTube trends, okay? But a lot of people who used to do full playthroughs of games, let's plays of games, like I do, basically changed their model up over the past couple of years and don't do full playthroughs anymore. What they do is first look videos, first impressions videos, montage videos. Maybe they play the full game out on stream, but then they actually do a good montage for YouTube or whatever, okay? By no means am I telling you that I'm changing my formula. I like being the guy known for playing games from start to finish, fully, on stream and on YouTube, and you get the full experience. And I know that a lot of my viewers and fan base are people who are here for that. That's how I got my start. I'm not going away from doing that, but what I'm brainstorming in my head here is extra work. I know, like I need extra work. Basically, when I finish a game that maybe didn't catch on as a playthrough. So first, the perfect effing example for this, if ever I've had one, is this week, Destiny, okay? Destiny is by far a game that is fun to play with others, especially if it's your friends or comrades, and is not a fun game to watch because it's a lot of repetitive fucking shooting. The whole game is shooting. Oh, look, there's an enemy. Shoot him. Oh, look, there's a fucking car. Shoot it. Oh, my God, there's a giant, huge elite level monster. Shoot the fucker. And that's the whole game, all right? It's catchy. It's addictive. There's loot. There's all kinds of stuff in it. But it's not something that you would want to watch someone play for 40 hours. Because it's fucking boring to watch. It's fun to interact. So in that regard, what I'm thinking of doing for a game like Destiny is doing less videos. And what I mean, if you've actually seen the playthrough this week, I did it. Instead of doing 10-minute videos like I do for every playthrough, I've been doing videos 1 per mission. So if you actually look at the Destiny gameplay I've done so far this week, Most of the videos are over 15 minutes long. In fact, the majority are around 20. Some of them are as long as 43 minutes long because of a long mission, okay? And I'm going to think I'll do that for games that seem like that. It's not a narrative-driven game. It's not a great game where that's going to be a fan favorite and everyone's going to be watching it, okay? Instead, what I'll do is I'll do like I'm doing with Destiny now, a few shorter or longer videos, less videos a day, but what I'll do is when I finish the game, I will do a montage of here's the greatest moments of Destiny. Here's a giant epic boss fight where we almost won and I was running out the door trying to survive and I died at the last minute and it's hilarious. Here's all of us shooting and attacking and doing this epic gameplay. Here's a time when I was completely surrounded by enemies about to die and all of a sudden I do my super attack and I blow away everything. Here's a funny commentary that I made during the gameplay. Oh my god, right? So that way, okay, I don't want to see Phil sit there and create his character and go through the fucking beta gameplay again, and now I gotta fish through 500 hours of footage to find out what the good part is. If I make a montage of it, you can fucking watch it. And then it can even say, well, if you want to see the whole playthrough, you can. And here's how you find it. Here's the link to the playlist. Okay? In fact, if you guys don't realize this, I did this in the past. It was called Suicide Kings. It was a little series that I did for Red Dead Redemption, where myself, John Rambo, and a few other people jumped into the open world gameplay of the game, and we did a montage of the funniest moments that we came up with, and it did huge. It did well, hundreds of thousands of views. One of the most successful things I've ever done on YouTube. But I got away from that as people said, we want to see you play the game, so I would just play the game, right? So that's how I'm going to approach it. Not saying that I'm not going to be playing the whole game, but that I want to, at least for those of you who don't want to watch all this shit, you can get a snippet. Here's a taste of the game, and if you like it, go watch the whole playthrough, okay? So I'm actually, in my brain, this popped, and people gave me this idea today on the forums. I'm thinking, when can I do? Here's the thing, though. Here's the catch. Ultimately, when this stuff like, okay, you love this idea. I see people on the stream chat are really liking this idea. This is great. You should definitely do this, okay? Unfortunately, it has to pair off with something, because there has to be time to do it, right? So if I'm taking time to go through all of my hours of footage of Destiny to find the greatest moments and compile it into funny and great moments of Destiny into a montage, that means I can't be streaming and I can't be playing another game. So whether that means that Monday, there's no second stream Monday because I have to take 2 hours to shift through and try to edit this together, so be it. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. Here's the difference between me and other people who do gameplay. From day one, I was the guy who played the most games, by far created the most videos. So people say when it comes to Phil, it's quantity over quality. Phil puts out an insane amount of content. Phil plays through more games than anyone else, but he doesn't video edit, he doesn't edit out, he doesn't do voiceover. Everything that he does is kind of on the fly, impromptu, and just loaded raw, okay? So that's the thing. If you want me to take the time to do that kind of edited video, I can do it. I'm not saying it's going to look good because I'm not a great video editor by any means. I didn't get any training for it. I have a crappy program to do it. I'm probably eventually going to have to start using a better one like Sony Vegas and learn how to use it because I don't. But I will do it. So I need your feedback. What do you guys think? And then when I beat Destiny supposedly tomorrow, do you want to see me afterwards take time out and not do gameplay one day and instead work on this montage and make a cool epic here's the best of Destiny montage that I can put together for you? What do you think? Okay? So I'm going to see what people say. Okay? I'm going to see what people say. Obviously, I can't read the street chat right now, guys, but if you could put on the comments of this video, on Twitter, on the forums, if you could let me know what you think about that idea, and then for longer playthroughs like this, I'll do that. Okay? Now, I'm not going to do it for playthroughs where I feel that there's critical moments. Like, for example, The Walking Dead. If I just highlight the critical moments of The Walking Dead, not only is it huge spoilers, right? But it kind of ruins the immersion, and people can just watch that video and completely spoil themselves versus watching the playthrough. So I'm not doing it with everything, but I think there are certain games that if I do it, people will be interested in it, okay? Ooh, excuse me. So let's see what people have to say about that. When I start getting the feedback, I can't read the stream chat right now about it, okay? So that's one other major change, okay? Other changes that are coming, okay? I already had this idea, and I noticed that as I was sharing information over the past 2 years with people on Twitter about mobile games that I've been playing, that people have become incredibly interested. There are people who are playing the same mobile games that I'm playing, and they're like, Phil, wow, what did you do in this situation? Phil, how do you get past this? Phil, what do you do? And I don't do playthroughs of mobile games, and no, by far, I'm not planning on starting to do playthroughs of mobile games. However, yesterday I was out, and I purchased the HDMI adapter for the iPad and for the iPhone. So what this allows me to do is output the audio and video of those devices to my capture device and rip video and audio from them. What I'm planning to do in the near future, which again is going to take time, so there's going to probably be less games being played on stream and such, is use this little boy to make videos of the mobile stuff that I'm playing, okay, and give you guys tutorial videos. So, for example, right now for WWE Supercard, an app that I've been playing for 2 weeks, I've got an incredible amount of pointers, tips, and things that I could give you to help you do better, because I see people playing that game all the time that did it wrong. You could just tell when you look at the card that they're using, what happened here? Why is it so under-leveled, or why is this happening? I could help you with that. I could tell you the tips if you're stuck. I could help you with that. I could just do it's a very simple walkthrough explaining what the game is and then give you the advanced tips, and it's a 20-minute video. I could do that. And that's easy. That's just taking raw video and slapping it together and doing a voiceover. It's one of the easiest things I could possibly do. I do it at the end of the year every year with the year-end videos, like the Game of the Year awards and stuff. So I think I'm going to do that. And in particular, the two games that I'll be covering are WWE Supercard, which is a newer game, and of course Injustice, which is a very old game. But I get the feeling next year, guys, this is going to be a big one. Next year we got Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 10 coming out? Or Mortal Kombat X, it's 10, whatever. I guarantee you there will be a mobile version of the game. And the reason I say that, the Injustice mobile app, I don't know how many people know this, made so much money that they actually, NetherRealm was told to stop working on the console game to make an expansion for the mobile game. And they did. They stopped making DLC characters for the console game because there was more money being made on the mobile game, and they went and made more stuff for the mobile game. I know it's something weird to think of, but yeah, mobile gaming is becoming so effing huge, okay, that it's a market that's actually breaking that much into console games. And I guarantee you that if there's actually going to be a Mortal Kombat app next year, I'll learn stuff, I'll be able to share it with you guys. There's one catch, okay? And the catch is kind of a big one, and it's annoying for me. At least from what I can figure out, with my setup here, with my capture devices that I'm using, I can only get 30 frames per second with the iPhone and the iPad. Now, it's not going to matter for you guys, because on YouTube, videos only run at 30 frames per second. So the gameplay you won't notice, but for those of you who've played the games, okay, like for example, Injustice, it runs at 60 frames per second. It looks beautiful. It actually looks better than the console game. I shit you not. But I can't even show you that because YouTube doesn't support it. If YouTube does support it, that thing only outputs 30 frames per second anyway. That's a little nitpicky thing. It doesn't matter in the long run. So anyway, in the near future, expect me to start working on stuff like that, okay? Long term, what is going to happen? Well, right now, we're in the midst of the hardcore gaming season. We're in the middle of a bunch of games. In fact, I'm about to start talking about Destiny and what other games are coming up this week, by the way. So don't tune out. Oh, God, Phil's going on a long freaking marathon here. When's he going to stop and start talking about other stuff? Right now, I'm going to be stuck playing games. I don't want to say stuck. Why did I say it like that? I always just say it the negative way. I'm going to be busy playing games. I'm excited to be doing it, okay? Until probably mid-December. And finally, in mid-December, I'm going to have a little bit of a break. Starting in 2015, I'm going to start up several new projects, which I've been very excited to hopefully start up, and now it looks like I'll finally have the opportunity to do so. First is going to be a new series where it's going to be a parody comedy series where I pretend to be an employee of Google and or YouTube. And every time that Google or YouTube changes something, fucks with something, screws something up, this person will not only make a video to inform you about it, but to pretend like it was intentional. Like, oh, we took out the ability to add things to playlist in order because we like the spice of life and variety is good, so it's good to have part 3 before part 7. You know, that's just an example, but you'll see what I mean when it happens. It's not that simple. It's going to be an interesting series. That's something I've wanted to do for a while, and I have props for it. I have all kinds of importance. I haven't gotten to it. Just haven't gotten to it, okay? Another thing, ladies and gentlemen, is the return of the original Project 7, ladies and gentlemen. Not the Project 7 that had John and Howard and Respect the Pack doing all fancy effects. Absolutely not. We're talking the D-movie level, horrible editing, horrendous effects, original Project 7, okay, that I originally intended to do way back when, including the original game that I was planning to play. I'm going to bring it back next year. It's coming. I've decided 100% I'm doing it. I'm bringing it back. It's going to be the original plot line that I had intended before it got all overblown with crazy effects and stuff. And it's actually...
Did I hear Project 7?
Oh, honey.
Am I in it?
Would you... Oh, my goodness. So, yes, it's coming back next year. So that's going to be one of my major projects for next year. I'm going to be doing Project 7 with, yes, the return of Deathface and the return, you know, of course there will be some effects. It's not going to be completely just silly crap, but it's going to be pretty cheesy, really bad level, just like I did the original series. That's how I wanted the original series to actually be, and people loved it. So I'm going to continue on with that, and it is going to not be a gameplay through. I got to make that clear to everyone. Project 7 was not a video game playthrough. What Project 7 was, it was going to be me basically being forced to play a game I didn't want to play, that I didn't like from my childhood, okay? Being forced to play it and relive the horrible moments of the game that I don't like, kind of, you know, complaining about it, Deadface kind of sticking it to me while I was doing it, and me kind of maybe trying to get back at him, and us going back and forth. So it's going to be like skits along with the gameplay, and I really want to do this so badly, and I finally have a place where I have filming locations, I can do stuff with it. I think it would be great. I hope that that people will like it, you know what I mean? We'll have to see. Okay. And there are other things as well, other things that I'm planning on doing. As you know, I bought a green screen. I just have not had any time to touch it. I want to start using it, but that's going to come next year. I think 2015, really, if anything, 2015 is going to be a year of rejuvenation, of rebirth. I'm going to probably reboot all of my video series so they have new intros and stuff, because I want 2015 to really feel like this is the beginning of something great. It's not just me messing around in my condo and just playing a game and raw gameplay. I'm trying to actually get back to that level that I was at once, where I was doing creative projects and I was doing fun stuff and there was variety and there was not just gameplay but this and this and this. And I lost that. I lost touch with that as I got caught up in everything else. And now I'm finally in a situation where I feel that I could do it well. And I hope that you guys, at least the longtime fans, are excited to hear some of the stuff that I just revealed to you. Okay? All right. So, those are the big announcements in regards to new stuff that's coming up, okay? So, again, before we move on, I wholeheartedly apologize for getting so caught up with the negativity, and not necessarily the haters anymore, but just being negative every day. I'm going to try not to do that anymore because I feel that you guys don't want it anymore, right? You just want to get me get right on stream, get right to gameplay. You don't want to hear me bitch and moan about different stuff. You don't want to hear me go off the cuff and yell and scream at one group of people and say that Minecraft sucks. You don't care about that. You want, you know, yes, you want my opinions, but you don't want the ridiculousness, and I gotta tone that back. And especially now we're in the hardcore gaming season, I gotta be careful that I don't go off the cuff and, you know, accidentally blame, I got low views and it's everyone's fault and this and that. No one wants to hear that shit, right? No one. I shouldn't be saying it. I shouldn't be thinking it. You don't want to hear it, and I'm gonna commit myself to try to stop doing that. I apologize to anyone who I did insult, who I did basically upset with that, okay? And if I do say stuff, for example, a couple weeks ago when I talked about the Ice Bucket Challenge and how I wasn't doing it, and I didn't really explain myself fully, and then last week on Hate Live, I did explain myself fully, and I actually got a bunch of nice messages from people saying, Phil, thank you for clarifying the situation, because when your original video came out and it was taken out of context and you weren't explaining the whole situation because it was just a pre-stream, it seemed like you were being an asshole. But once you actually explained the situation last week on Hate Live, my opinion changed, and I think that you were actually correct. I actually agree with you, but you didn't express yourself like that. So I apologize if there are times when I don't express myself well, saying something quick. I'm going to try not to be distracted and be like that. I'm going to try to focus myself on what I'm supposed to be doing, and hopefully that works in the future. There you go. Okay. Let's talk turkey. Destiny. Destiny is exactly what I thought it was beforehand. Destiny is a combination of Borderlands and Halo gameplay. The campaign plays just like Borderlands, the multiplayer plays just like Halo. And really, that's the game, okay? Now, there's more coming. Supposedly, next week they're going to start raids, okay? You have to be a high level, though, to even do that, which makes no sense. Why would you have an introductory raid for lower level people who maybe didn't play the game that much? No, the raid, you have to be max level 20-something, which is, like, way high. It makes no sense, of course, but I digress. There is more content coming, but the game at its core seems to be Borderlands, Halo. It's not an MMO. And I hate to say that. A lot of people, oh, but Bungie said this is an MMOFP. It's not an MMO. An MMO is a game where you have massive interaction with a large group of players. You actually have reason for interaction. You have a social aspect to the game where you talk to each other and have maybe trading and crafting, and you make clans and you do all that stuff, and none of that happens in this game. This game is, I team up with 3 people and I go shoot things, I go online and I shoot against other people and play Halo multiplayer. That's Destiny. Okay? That doesn't mean the game's bad, and that doesn't mean the game's great. It's going to depend on your perspective. If you like Halo and Borderlands, you're going to fucking love it. If you don't like Halo and Borderlands, you're going to hate it. If you're someone like me who enjoyed playing Borderlands 1 and 2, but did get kind of bored with them near the end because it was kind of repetitive and the same thing and a grind the whole game. If you're someone like me who can understand the fun aspect of playing some Halo multiplayer, but really isn't so enthralled with it that thinks that you're a huge fucking fanboy of Bungie, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I think that maybe Bungie misstepped here because really they advertised this game as this is the most fucking amazing, innovative game ever. The ads on TV said it's more than a game. All this hoopla and hype and all the ad revenue they threw at it. And it's really just 2 games put together with nice, shiny graphics. By the way, don't even run at 60 frames per second, which baffles me in this day and age that a next-gen game that you're saying is like the big thing can't run at a high frame rate. That's insane, okay? But then again, it is made by Bungie, who last gen, remember when the Xbox 360 first came out and they came out with Halo 3? That game wasn't even HD. It was just an upscaled, low-definition game. So I digress, I guess, but however, Destiny is a huge seller. They've already said they've already reached the $500 million mark. They've sold 4 million copies or something like that. It's selling insane amounts of money because everyone bought into the hype. Everyone bought into the TV ads, to the media outlets, to everyone who, I gotta play Destiny, I gotta play Destiny. And everyone bought into the hype. So this is actually a case, because if you actually go to Metacritic, the Metacritic user ratings are like a 5.8 on average. Most people who are playing the game are saying, this is kind of a mediocre game, I don't get what the hype is about. But if all you did was watch the ads and the hype, you went out and bought the game and you're playing with your friends, it's the best game ever. Typical big budget stuff that happens every single year with a new game. Personally, I don't dislike the game. I'm actually having fun with it because I chose to play every day with different people, and we're all interacting and we're having fun with it. And I think that so far my playthrough has been pretty enjoyable. Maybe not to watch for you, because the game is a grind and repetitive and boring, but for me to play it has actually been quite fun. So I am going to be finishing up Destiny come tomorrow, at least the story aspect of the game. Next week, whether or not I participate in the raids, I have no idea, because I think there's a 20-something level requirement. And no, I'm not going to be repetitively playing the game to grind and get up levels to participate in a freaking raid event. It makes no sense. Why wouldn't you have one for introductory players? No, you must grind to participate. It doesn't even make sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely off base, but all I know is I'm reading what I read online. That's what it said. So I could be wrong. Okay. So, now let's get to the one big... Well, actually, hold on. Before we get to this, what games are coming up in the next few days? Well, first of all, tomorrow the conclusion of I said Borderlands. The conclusion of Borderlands tomorrow. The conclusion of Destiny tomorrow, Destiny's campaign, as well as we will do more Leighton versus Wright on second stream. Yes, despite the fact that I bitched and moaned about views, I'm still going to play the game, okay? And by the way, that is one thing that I am going to say. I'm going to pretty much at this point, moving forward, not talk about views anymore, alright? I know that some people want to know how I'm doing, want to know how, geez, Phil, financially, is he doing alright? How are the views doing on this or that? But people, there's too much of a negative backlash whenever I talk about it anymore at this point. At this point, if I even say the word view, it's like, oh my god, that's it, here it comes, and forget it. I'm just, from now on, I'll just tell you if I'm going to continue to play a game or not. I'm not going to tell you what's on my mind in regards to views of a certain playthrough, money, or anything like that, and we're just going to move forward, and you're never going to hear that from me again. And if I start getting bad about it and talking views, you have every right to call me out on it and bitch at me about it and basically say, Phil, what are you doing? Because I'm just not going to bother with it anymore, okay? Okay, there you go. So, coming up, we are going to do more Leighton versus Right come Friday night. Saturday, I have a code to get into the beta of Mighty Number 9, ladies and gentlemen. I actually announced this on, what was it, Twitter? I think I did? Yeah. A viewer who got a code for this was nice enough to say, I don't want to play it on PC, so here's the code. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. So I'm going to be checking out the Mighty Number 9 beta this Saturday on stream. I have no idea how long it is. It could be 10 minutes. But that's going to be what I start with. And then whenever that finishes, I am going to be doing some Tales of Exilia 2 this Saturday on stream. This Sunday, alright, after all these months of build-up, ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday, Ultra Street Fighter 4, I'm going to be playing with the characters who I have determined I'm actually doing well with and want to learn more and play with more. So we're talking, in no particular order, Rolento, Zangief, Blanca, M. Bison, Rose, and I'm trying to remember if there was one or two. Oh, Gouken was definitely one. I'll go back and I'll look at the different characters that I've played with in the past several weeks and decide who it is that I actually want to play with and continue to play with and try to do better with. And this Sunday is the first Sunday I'm going to be going with throughout those characters and playing with them and focusing on having fun, having good gameplay, and winning. Not, oh, I'm trying to learn this character, or I don't really know it. No. These are characters now that I know enough that I have at least basic understanding. I'm going to try to focus on these characters when I play Ultra Street Fighter 4. It begins this Sunday. So, please come by, check out the stream, or check out the videos on YouTube, okay? I think you're really going to like them. It's going to be definitely higher quality stuff than a lot of the stuff that I was putting out during those weeks when I was trying to learn the characters. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Sunday night, we'll do the weekend preview. We'll do Tomodachi Life. Monday, I'm going to leave wide open right now. The reason I'm leaving it wide open is because I actually don't know how far I'm going to get in all these games, right? Is it going to be Leighton and then is it Tales of Exilia 2? I don't know, okay? Next week, we do have a new game with Naruto, and I may be doing some other stuff. We'll have to see what happens. I'll talk about that later this week in the weekend preview, okay? All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, now, let us, very, very briefly, because it's not really too much that I have to talk about this, but I want to talk about the gaming news story this week. The big story is that Microsoft is in talks to possibly purchase the Minecraft franchise and even the company, I forget the name of the company, that Minecraft was produced by for $2 billion, okay? I just want you to understand the concept of $2 billion. If you have $1 million, okay, you could probably invest half of it, live comfortably for several years off the other half, all right, and probably make a business or start a franchise and basically be set for life. If you have $5 million, you don't have to work ever again. You can literally invest the $4 million, right, and have it just invest on itself so it keeps propagating and making more money every year, and that's your life, that's the money you live on. $2 billion? That is, what is that? I can't even think. 900, that's 999 million times 2. $2 billion? Holy shit. That is a lot of money. God damn it. And Microsoft actually has that much money. I mean, Microsoft is fucking insanely rich, okay? So what does this mean? First of all, it's funny because Minecraft, as you guys know, was made primarily by a game programmer named Notch. He was kind of the originator of the game, the creator of the game, and the game exploded into popularity on the internet, and then people started buying it on PC and making tons of money for the company. So then they said, let's port it to other things, and it sold like hotcakes on there, and mods became viral on YouTube and Twitch, and now you have insane, every gaming video you look on YouTube is Minecraft. Oh, someone made a Destiny video. Minecraft. That's like the top gaming videos on YouTube. So, holy fuck, did this game get popular? Did it internationally do well? You got Minecraft merch in the stores. You got Minecraft everywhere, okay? So if Microsoft buys Minecraft, it takes an interesting turn because Minecraft has been owned by almost, you want to say, this kind of independent company, right? Microsoft, what would they do if they bought Minecraft? Would you see Halo Minecraft official? Would you see, you know what I mean, crossover franchises? Would they try to do something different with Minecraft? Make a new Minecraft? I don't know. I think a lot of people, the reason that they support Minecraft is it's kind of the Cinderella story of the indie game. A game that really came out of nowhere, became insanely popular, and made a ton of money, but it wasn't because Microsoft threw $5 billion into the production budget and advertised the fuck out of it. It's not because there's an ad on TV like with Destiny that says, it's more than a game. You know what I mean? It just kind of succeeded on its own viral popularity, and it's been this anomaly, and again, kind of the archetype for indie game success, and people are just like astounded by it. But what happens when a big company like Microsoft buys it? Will that change Minecraft? You know what I mean? Now imagine that you're Notch. How the fuck do you say no to $2 billion? I mean, holy shit. That's instant power, instant wealth, your ability to do whatever the fuck you want for the rest of your life, and to probably take care of your whole family, to take care of your friends. He could fucking buy a rocket to the moon if he wanted. $2 billion. Fuck. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know if people, you know, how they really feel about this. If you're a fan of Minecraft, how would you feel if your thing that you really felt you were part of this community all of a sudden gets bought out by a big corporation? Is it going to change? Do you worry? I don't know. Oh, God. Now I got a big freaking Minecraft discussion going on in the stream chat. I'm not even going to touch it. No, I already told you, I'm not going to say any stupid things that are going to get me in trouble. No, I refuse. How dare you, okay? So that's the big news story. I wonder what your take is on it, all right? Leave a comment, shoot me a tweet, let me know what you think. All right, I'm going to go on break. I've just talked for over an hour. We're going to come back, and we're going to have a Back in the Day segment that's going to be all about my younger years, the days back when I was a teenager and the crazy stuff that I did. I'm going to have some fun stories. I'll be right back, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on Twitch TV, just stick in there. I'll be back in a few minutes, okay? Enjoy the commercial break. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a timestamp in the description of the video. Click it, skip the ad, come right back, all right? Thanks, everyone. See you in a little bit. It would help if I actually looked at the right thing so I can actually go on commercial break. That's not the right thing. Okay, everybody, welcome back to Hate Live. This is going to be the Back in the Day segment where I go into detail about myself and my experiences over my life. Sometimes it's about games. Today, not so much. Today, we're actually going to be talking about a period of time in my life when I was young. I was just kind of coming of age, as they say. Probably the time when between I was maybe 17 to 19 years old. And I was basically reaching the end of my high school years, and the very beginning of my college days. And it was a rebellious time, let me tell you. Let me give you guys some backstory on this whole situation as to why I kind of did what I did, all right? And by no means, I want you guys to preface this. Before I even get started, let me preface this. I am not exactly proud of everything that I did as a youngster. In fact, there's going to be many things in here that I'm going to tell you about that I do not recommend that you do or try, okay? As always, in your life, it is of your own decision and volition whether or not you want to do things such as drink and or smoke or try drugs or do those things. And I'm not going to say either way, bad or good, whether or not you should, because everyone's different. There's some people who go through life perfectly fine in moderation. There's people who go out of control with substance abuse. And so it is what it is, all right? But I'm not advocating nor naysaying. I'm not a straight edge, but I'm also not a raging druggy alcoholic, okay? Sex pot fiend, whatever you want to say. So let me give you some perspective. My life was pretty freaking weird, all right? I'm pretty much the exception to the rule when it comes to someone like me, because I know a lot of people say, Phil, you seem like you're, kind of the big rough and tumble guy before you got into your injury. You probably played a lot of sports and football and all that. And that is true. I did enjoy very much doing that kind of stuff. But at the same time, when I was younger, I was always kind of like the goody two-shoes, very, very kept to myself, introverted kind of a person. I wasn't very outgoing. I didn't have a ton of friends throughout grammar school. I had friends, but it wasn't like I had a ton of them and I was Mr. Popular or anything like that. And also, when I was growing up, I would always do what my parents told me. So, my parents would say, Phil, you got to go to bed. Well, let me take that back. Philip. They call me Philip. They would say, Philip, you must go to bed by a certain time. I wouldn't argue with them. I'd go to bed at that time. Philip, you must, eat your greens and do this and that. And for the most part, I would do it. Let me give you this perspective. You'll be like, huh? When I was a kid, my parents used to take me to the toy store. And they would give me a toy, and I would just sit there and look at the toy while they walked all around the store buying stuff that they needed or whatever. And I don't mean a toy store, maybe like a variety store that has toys, a toy department, but other stuff. And I would just stare at the figure, and then at the end of the trip, they would just put the figure back, and we would leave, and I wouldn't cry about it and say, oh, can you buy me that figure? I was just happy to look at the figure. I was that much of an obedient child. Like, I was always the one, oh, Philip, you've got to get straight A's. You've got to study your ass off. You're not going out with your friends, and you're not going to play video games, and you're not going to play Street Fighter. You're going to stay at home, and you're going to play or do your homework, and you're going to get straight A's. I'd be like, okay. I was like that for a lot of my life. I always thought that, my parents knew better than me, and, they were going to have my best interests in mind. The high school years are the years where that train of thought starts to change, because when you hit your high school years, that's when a lot of things kind of happen. You get your first sexual urges, you get your first desire to think freely about religion and about your own safety and about your own life and your own direction and what you want to do with your life. Your college is coming up and you really have to decide when you go to university, what are you going to study? It's like this really interesting time of life where all this stuff is coming together at once. And at the time, you're so young, you don't even realize that it really is a determination of what's going to happen in the rest of your life. So, at this time of my life, my whole life, I'd done what my parents had told me, got great grades in school or whatever, and it just got to a point where it was like, okay, as long as it's within reason, okay, as long as there's within reason, I would listen to what my parents told me. But there came a point when I was probably around 16 to 17 years old, when I had friends, and my friends we want to go out and have fun. We want to go out one night and maybe do something. And I'm not talking, go out as soon as you get home from school and be out all night and come back at midnight and not do any homework and not eat dinner or anything like that. No, we're talking reasonable stuff. Like, okay, you got home from school at 4, you do your homework till 6, you eat dinner, then you go out for maybe an hour or two, you come back by 9, you go to sleep. That was reasonable stuff. Well, my parents basically did not like this. No, but Philip, your whole life you've just done your homework and you didn't go out on weeknights and you didn't do this and you didn't do that. So I started finding excuses reasons to go out and do other stuff. So I started doing official school things. So, for example, I know some people, I joined the musical. There was a musical every year at my high school, and I actually did it a couple of years. And my friends would come by the musical, and we would bullshit and, do stuff that we weren't supposed to be doing there, basically, so that we had an opportunity to hang out, okay? Eventually, I started going out and doing whatever the hell I wanted, because my parents basically pissed me off, all right? There was this big situation where my parents didn't want to teach me how to drive. They didn't want to do all these things that all the other teenagers were having the opportunities to do, and they didn't want to do it, but they still expected me to be home every single night doing my homework and doing everything and never going out or anything like that. And I put my foot down and I said, no, I'm becoming an independent adult. I should be able to have time to do what I want. At least within reason or moderation. You can't control my life and dictate my life. And I actually think that is one of the hardest things for a parent, is to look at your child and say how much is too much and how much is too little. Because it's just as bad if you're too controlling. It's just as bad as if you're not controlling at all and you let your kid do whatever they want. Because in one case, now the kid feels sheltered and shut in and has no friends, and really they can't break out and be their own person, and maybe they're going to become kind of a introverted person for the rest of their life, almost a shut-in, versus if you do the opposite, now your kid's going to go out and do whatever the hell they want, and now they're going out and they're causing mischief, and there's no consequences because the parents don't care and they don't punish the kids. That's got to be tough. And so, can I fault my parents for not knowing where the right line was at some point? No. But at the same time, I'm not going to say that this didn't happen, right? I'm not going to pretend like it didn't. I didn't get along with my parents when I was in high school. I just didn't get along with them. And basically, when I was finally around 17 to 18, there was a point in my life where I would just start going out every night with my friends, regardless of what my parents thought, to the point where my parents threatened they were going to throw me out. And I said, fine, throw me out. I'll go live with my friends. It's not a big deal. If you're really going to be like that, rather than talking with me like nicely about it and figuring out and making a compromise, if you're just going to threaten and throw me out, then throw me out. Do it. I don't care. That was my mentality back then. So some things that my friends and I would do. I had a friend, okay, his name was Mark. And Mark was one of those people, I was never like this. His family had a lot of money, and he was basically able to do whatever he wanted, okay? He had a Camaro in high school. Let me put that into perspective for you. He had a Camaro. His dad bought him a fucking brand new Camaro. So, of course, everyone flocked to him. This is the cool kid. He's rich. He's got all the stuff that everyone else wants. It's unbelievable how, pampered this kid is, right? And his dad owned a nice house near where I lived. Much better area than where my parents lived, by the way. It was like the nice side of town, okay? And his dad frequently wouldn't be there. His dad would go on trips. His dad would be on contracting jobs. His dad would be here or there. And so Mark and myself were left to our own devices. Now, let me tell you, when you have a house to yourself, a Camaro, and basically unlimited funds because his dad gave him a ton of money, you can get into a lot of trouble, okay? First of all, we used to get alcohol. No, we did not buy it legitimately. There actually used to be a liquor store in the area where we knew we could buy whatever the hell we wanted. We would just walk up and he would charge you double. Don't get me wrong. You wanted like a case of beer, he wouldn't charge you the $30. He'd charge you $60, right? Because he knew he was breaking the law, but this guy was making tons of money hand over fist doing it, and we used to buy liquor from this guy. Not only beer, but hard liquor and everything, okay? Also, his dad kept the house stocked, so we constantly had different kinds of alcohol and stuff there, okay? We had, his dad, if you can believe this, had a boat. His dad had a boat that used to be down, there's a sound near where I used to live where it would be docked, and we would be able to go out on a boat and basically hang out on the boat. We would take girls out to the boat all the time, okay? So I want to tell you a few interesting stories of things that happened during these visits to these different places, because they're pretty wild, some of the stuff that happened, okay? So, here we go. So first of all, my first experience with marijuana was actually kind of lame, all right? I remember it was myself, Mark, and two other friends of ours. We were out on his boat, his dad's boat. Let me think that it wasn't his boat. On his dad's boat. And I was like, fine, you know, we're going to do it. We're going to smoke for the first time. I want to see what it's like. Everyone's talking about it. Some people were heavily into it. One of the kids who we were with was heavily into it. Like, he was all about it. He loved the lifestyle of just smoking up and being lazy all the time. Okay? One of the kids was kind of, he's done it a few times. Mark and I had never done it before. So I remember smoking, and nothing happened. Like, literally, I smoked a weed, nothing happened. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, it doesn't really do anything, okay? And it is true. It's actually, some people say that certain people, when you smoke weed for the very first time, nothing happens. It doesn't really affect you at all. Or maybe your body just isn't accustomed to the chemicals or whatever it is in it yet, and nothing, you know. And I didn't. That first time, I really felt just kind of normal, and we just kind of sat around in the boat having a few beers and talking all night about different stuff. And I didn't really feel any effect. Couple other times that we did it out on the boat, I did start to feel, you feel lightheaded and a little dizzy, but you feel a little paranoid. Uh-oh, is someone outside going to catch us smoking this stuff? And then, of course, yes, you get munchies, you want to eat, all of a sudden you get hunger in your stomach and you want to eat stuff, and you start talking about wild out stuff that I just remember one time I was so stoned out of my mind. We were talking about space and bullshit and the supernatural, you know. You talk about such nonsense, but whenever you're high, when you're... you know, wow, that's a revelation. This is amazing, riveting conversation. And you're like getting these life-changing conversations where you have amazing realizations, and really you're just talking about bullshit. You're probably talking about a fucking dirty sock or something. You know, that's what it felt like, to me at least, the couple times that I actually smoked up. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't like it. And the reason I didn't like it, there are two reasons, okay? Number one, because you stink. You do. Even if you use air fresheners or whatever, you still kind of stink like the marijuana. And it's a pain in the ass, especially if you're not supposed to be doing it, to make yourself de-stink unless you're going to fully change your clothes, which, you know, I didn't live with my friends, so I didn't have multiple changes of clothes with me at all times. I found it annoying. I actually didn't find it very, very interesting to have to do that, and then, oh no, I got to be around people. I can't stink like marijuana. Number two, I hate smoking with a passion, okay? I hate it. The reason that I hate smoking with a passion is because my mom smoked her whole life, my whole life. She still smokes to this day. She smokes Cool Milds, which I find absolutely disgusting. I actually have weak lungs. I do, because my mother smoked when I was in the womb, and then my whole life in the house as I was growing up, she smoked, and my lungs are fucked up. If I go outside in cold weather and a cold breeze blows, my lungs can't inhale. They go, like this, and I'm stuck. I can't breathe until the wind stops and I can cover my mouth and I can breathe again. And there are situations where I'm like very short of breath in certain situations. I don't have asthma. I'm not that bad, okay? But I know that I have shortness of breath. I have these issues because of the smoking that's been in my life. And even me, just the thought, I'm sucking the smoke into my mouth or whatever, I hate it. I fucking hate it, okay? On the flip side, I actually do enjoy smoking cigars. I haven't done it since high school, but a few times we smoked cigars, and those actually have a good scent and flavor to me. Like, you would inhale, okay, and then blow it out. Because cigar smoke, you only breathe into your mouth. You don't necessarily breathe it into your lungs and everything. You just kind of do it for the flavor. And I actually enjoyed smoking the cigars a few times that I did. But I just didn't like marijuana. Cigarettes, I hate cigarettes. I hate marijuana. Anything that's a smoke, I hate it. And so, maybe that was a good thing, because I can tell you right now, there were one or two guys who I knew who got heavy into the shit. To this day, I have a friend who's still heavy into the shit. And it's like, damn, like, stuff that you see them, and every time you see them, their eyes are fucking bloodshot like this, and it's like, dude, like, you're an adult now. Like, you're still doing this? Seriously? Like, you, like, stop for, like, 5 minutes? Can you not fucking be smoking up when I see you? Because it's really stupid, and you're not even yourself. So, I never really got into it, okay? Alcohol, I've always liked. Alcohol is a thing with me that, you know, it's my one vice, my poison, so to speak. I remember when I've tried tons of different kinds of alcohol, mostly because my friend Mark's dad had alcohol in the house all the time. We used to drink the shit out of all of it, all right? Tequila, oh my God, Jose Cuervo. We used to take a handle, which is the whole giant fucking thing of tequila, out to the boat, and it used to be him, me, and a couple of our friends there with snacks, playing cards, shooting the shit, drinking, having fun. It was cool. Because we, unlike a lot of other people, when we drank, we didn't fucking go drinking and driving and being assholes. We would put ourselves in a place where we knew if we drink and we're going to get drunk, we're going to stay there. We weren't trying to be irresponsible. We were trying to have fun, but not risk other people's lives at the expense of us having fun. You know what I mean? That's where it crosses the line, in my opinion. So, a few stories for you. A few fun stories that I think you guys will like. So there was this one time that we were over my friend Mark's house. It was the middle of the winter, okay? And it was my friend Mark, myself, my friend Mark's cousin, whose name was Liam, and a bunch of our friends. And we were all just, again, hanging out, having a night. It was snowed in. We actually got snowed in that night. It was a weekend. We were snowed into Mark's place alone because there was like a foot of snow outside. Now, my friend Mark's dad also had a hot tub that was outside of the place. But in the winter, the hot tub was kind of off limits. We were told, don't use the hot tub. The hot tub, you don't want to fuck with it because during the winter, the chemical balance could be off. And also, at this point, I think there was something wrong physically with the top of the hot tub. I mean, we were told, we know it's the winter. Cool. Is it a fantasy of everyone to kind of be out of almost a lodge atmosphere and sit in a hot tub outside with snow around you? That would be cool, but we were told it's off limits. So I remember we were drinking and we were fighting and we were having fun, and Mark and Liam, for whatever reason, kept getting into arguments, and I can't remember specifically what the arguments were. I do remember that there were a couple girls with us and that they were kind of hanging out with us and flirting with us and doing different things at the time, and Liam was really sweet on this one girl, so he would like make an insulting joke to Mark in front of her to try to show off, so then Mark would like all of a sudden, make them slip or fall or pick a beer and, like, splash it at them and shit like that. And they were at each other's throats all weekend during this snowed-in weekend, all right? So, I do remember at one point, Liam was, like, buzzed, and he went to sit down, and Mark pulls the chair out from behind Liam. He busts his ass, like, boom, ba-doom. So he's fucking, he's hurt. He's like, oh, you fucker. Of course, he's drunk, so he doesn't feel the pain, but he's all pissed. Oh, you fucker. They get into, like, a fight. They're, like, trying to punch each other seriously, beat the shit out of each other. But they did this from time to time. I don't know why, but they just fought all the time. So they get into this fight or whatever. Finally, it calms down. So we all go to sleep, okay? And this is where the mischief happens. So it's nighttime. And Liam takes it upon himself, because he really likes this girl. He wakes her up and says, hey, let's go out in the hot tub tonight. But your cousin, Mark, he said don't go in the hot tub. The hot tub's off limits. Why would, fuck him. He's been a dick to me all weekend. Fuck that piece of shit. We're going to go in the hot tub together, Toots. Come on. So they wake up. They don't wake anybody else up, okay? They go outside, and they go in the hot tub. So they're in the hot tub together, all right? Not supposed to be. They're in the hot tub together without any permission or whatever. They're flirting. I'm sure they're doing hanky-panky, whatever, in the hot tub. This is so good. Keep in mind, it's frigid fucking cold. There was a foot of snow outside. It's frigid fucking cold where the hot tub is outside. So they're only warm because they're in the hot tub. So my friend Mark says, okay. He wakes up. And he wakes everyone else in the house up. Like, what are you doing? Why are you waking us up? He goes, watch this. He goes, guess who's in the hot tub? And he opens the little blinds a little bit. And we could see it was Liam and the girl. He goes, watch this. He goes outside. He takes the clothes. He takes Liam's clothes. He goes, yoink. Because they were naked. They were skinny dipping in the hot tub. Grabs the clothes, goes inside and locks the door. And he goes, oh, by the way, the power control for the hot tub's inside. And he turned it off. So after like 10 minutes, the two of them out there, oh shit, oh, let us in. And they're like at the door, let us in, freezing their fucking asses off on the back porch. Let us the fuck in. And Mark's like, I told you not to fucking go in that hot tub. So finally, after like 15, 20 minutes, they let them in. They're freeze to the bone, of course. So we dried them off, we warmed them up. Come to find out, Liam got into huge trouble because he broke the top of the hot tub. Apparently, it had like a latch or something you were supposed to unhook before you release it. And he was drunk. He didn't know what he was doing. He like ripped it and he like broke the whole top, which was like $100 repair. And he got into tons of fucking trouble for doing that. It was pretty funny though. It was pretty funny. Another story again at this house, Mark's house, was that I remember this one time. It was a bunch of us. It was myself, Mark, a few of our usual friends, another friend of ours who used to hang out with us at our high school, who actually is someone who was a Street Fighter player at the time, locally, who I knew, and a few other people. And
were there any girls?
you please?
Don't think I don't know about your sea
This
sluts.
is like 15 years ago.
I don't care.
Oh my god. So anyway, so we're all there and we're drinking. Now keep in mind, this is after I had actually tried marijuana before, okay? But I didn't like it. Remember, I told you guys, I didn't like marijuana. I just didn't get it. I didn't get a buzz that was too good out of it or anything, and I hated it. So we're sitting there, we're all drinking. I don't remember if it was beers or hard liquor. Probably a mixture combination of the two was what it usually was. And all of a sudden, one of my friends, he pulls out, whoop, a doobie, a joint. He lights it up, starts passing it around. Everyone's passing. I said, and when he got to me, I was like, no, dude, I am totally good with my liquor right now. I got a nice buzz going, okay? I don't need to go overboard or anything. I'm good where I am. I'm having a good night. I don't want to smoke the marijuana. And my friend said, come on, man. Just take a hit. It's just a hit. It's not going to be a big deal. This is good stuff. You'll feel better. It'll be great. Come on, man. Just take a hit. And I said, listen, I know, look, everyone's having a good time. Everyone here is smoking. I understand you guys kind of want everyone to be part of it. Listen, I wouldn't give a shit, but I'm already drinking. I'm at a good place. I have a good buzz going. I like the buzz that I have. I don't want to ruin it, and I just want to stay here, and I want to drink my beer and stay. And he says, listen, man, come on. Everyone's doing it. Take the joint and just smoke it. Don't be a drag. We're all getting to the same kind of a high or whatever. Take the joint. And I said, man, listen, I'm saying one more time. I don't really want it. I'm good. I got a good buzz going here. I just want this drink. I don't want anything else. I'm having it. And the guy says, take the fucking joint, smoke. All right, fine. Take the joint. 10 minutes later, I'm vomiting profusely into the toilet. I'm not kidding you. Because it was too much. This is actually what happens. Once you learn where your level is, where you get a nice buzz, don't ever go past it because you go overboard. It basically didn't agree with whatever was going on inside of me. I felt awful. I felt like super dizzy, like the whole room was spinning. I ran to the bathroom, right? But that's not the end of the story. That's not the end of the story. So I'm in the bathroom. Blah, blah, vomiting. Can't stop vomiting. I feel awful, right? I feel so bad. And also I'm like, oh God, I gotta shit too. I'm gonna shit my pants. So I'm vomiting. I get up. Oh God, I gotta shit. I pull my pants up. Oh God. Oh wait. Oh, I feel sick. I gotta vomit. Oh God. I get over. Oh fuck. And this is literally happening for like 15 minutes. Okay. I'm just dying. I'm absolutely dying in this bathroom, in this toilet. So finally, keep in mind, I have to keep throwing up, and as I'm throwing up, it's too much. I don't even have time to flush. I'm literally vomiting into my shit and shitting into my vomit. It's like the most disgusting combination of stuff you've ever seen in a toilet ever. So finally, I'm like, oh, all right. And I go like this. I go, and then my friend Mark walks in and he goes, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that toilet's broken. What a dick. He didn't tell anyone the toilet was broken, so I would run in there, and now I'm stuck with my face in a vomit and shit, and I can't clean the toilet. I can't flush it. So I can't move. I'm still sick. I'm still like sick. I can't leave the room. I'm like, oh, I can't leave the room, so I'm stuck. So someone's going to help me, right? Oh, we got to help Phil. All right, let's help him. So they come back with this box of oyster, or no, was it oyster? I think it was either oyster or Ritz crackers, some kind of crackers. So like, usually when you have a real bad stomachache, you eat some bread, you eat some crackers, you're good, you'll get better, right? So okay, good, thanks, man. I feel awful between my vomiting. Let me freaking, eat these crackers. So I start eating the crackers. I'm not looking at what I'm doing. I'm eating the crackers. Oh my God. Oh, they don't taste good, but then again, my mouth tastes disgusting. It's full of vomit. I'm eating crackers. And then I look. The crackers are moldy. They expired a month before. I go, it was the most disgusting thing ever. And eventually we ended up having to, like, if I remember correctly, we left it there because we couldn't clean it, right? We had to get, like, eventually a wet vac or something to clean it up. It was the most fucking absolutely disgusting, revolting thing ever. It was just terrible. And after that, I said to myself, from then on, I would never drink and smoke up at the same time ever. And actually, incidentally, I only smoked up one other time ever after that. And I already told that story. That was in college. Did I tell that story? Did I ever tell you guys the story about in college when I smoked the weed that was laced with something and I basically lost almost 2 days' time? Did I ever tell you guys that story? I'm trying to remember. You know what? That'll be another day. That'll be a totally other day because let's not get into college right now. I don't remember if I told you guys that, but that was the last time I ever smoked up. After that, I said, fuck it. And since then, I've not put a drug in my body. Like, I did a few things during high school and college, different drugs and stuff, and after that, I was like, I'm done. I'm just not going to mess with the shit anymore. People are saying, yes, I did. Some are saying no, but some people are saying, yes, I did. Okay. All right. So finally, a final story that I'd like to tell you from this time. Actually, no, I have 2 more stories. 2 more good stories, okay? So, if you guys remember, I told you that my friend Mark had a Camaro. All right. Now, when you're in high school, you have no money, right? You're trying to be, you're trying to act and show off in school or whatever. Imagine the kind of tale you pull if you drive in with a fucking Camaro, a brand new Camaro that your parents bought you. You know what I mean? And so, obviously, I was incredibly jealous of him. But he had this Camaro, and boy, did he love to flaunt it. Oh, after school, come out and see my car. Oh, we'll go for a ride. We'll go to the Merritt Canteen, which is actually a nice local burger joint, and we'll, and he would pull the women and all this stuff, right? So, at night, after school, we would be assholes. Oh, man. He would take that Camaro, and he would fucking drive 120 miles per hour on the highway. I kid you not. And again, please, do not take this as an example of something you should do. It's not smart. It's fucking incredibly dumb. And as an adult, I know for a fact it is 100% wrong. No one should be speeding on the highway like that for jollies. It's incredibly dangerous. It's one thing if you're taking risks with your own life, but to take risks that you could hurt someone else, don't fucking do it, okay? But he used to take this fucking thing and rip it. I mean, here we go, burnouts. And then you go, here we go. Puts it in drive. Boom. 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. And we're fucking big smoke trails flying up, right? And we are just fucking ripping it on the highway. And he used to do that kind of stuff. And we're like, oh, we got to get somewhere fast. Oh, go with Mark. Mark would get there in 5 seconds because he'd drive 100 miles per hour on the highway, right? So he ended up getting a few tickets and stuff, but it wasn't anything that was like, he never got into a car accident or anything, okay? So, this is the funniest part. I believe the Camaro was a lease. He did not own the Camaro. I don't think his father told him that. So after like 1.5 to 2 years time, I think it was like sophomore through junior year, he had to trade the car in or trade it up. He brought it in and the dealership said, "What the fuck did you do to this car? The tires are worn out. The suspension's completely fucked and wrecked. It looks like someone's been drag racing with this car." And his father was like, "You motherfucker. You were racing with this car. I spent all this money on you to get you a nice car and to get you laid in high school. And you fucking destroy the car, you piece of shit." So he got into a shitload of trouble. And his dad said, "Well, I can't drive you around." Because, by the way, I forgot to mention that my friend Mark lived with his dad and the mother was not in the picture. They were separated. She lived somewhere else, so they didn't live together. He's like, "I'm not driving you to school every day. I got work to do. I own my own business. I got to be a responsible adult, and I can't fucking drive you to school. So I got to get you another car. But since you want to be an asshole, right, and you want to fuck with the car that I told you not to fuck with, I bought you a nice car, and this is how you treat it. I'm going to get you a car that you could beat up however you want. I'm going to get you a shitty Jeep." And he did. He bought him a shitty-ass Jeep, low-end, like no fucking features in the thing. I remember the top of the Jeep leaked like crazy, okay, when it rained. It was like it wasn't like the higher-end models. It was the lower-end piece of shit Jeep. So, of course, you can't drive fast in a Jeep. The thing barely moves because it has, the 4 wheels are way spaced out. It's way different than a Camaro, let's put it that way. And he wasn't pulling any tail with that Jeep. No, he was not. So, I remember one day, we were such assholes. I remember one day, he goes, "My fucking dad buys me a fucking Jeep, he fucking, because that's what I mean, you're so ungrateful when you're that age, you know what I mean? No matter what your parents do for you, you're so pissed at them because it's that rebellious age." And he goes, "You motherfucker, buy me a fucking Jeep. I can't believe he would do that." I'm going to get him. Watch this. You know what my dad told me? He says, if I'm going to off-road, I'm going to race, I'm going to do all this shit with my car, he's going to buy me a Jeep because the Jeep won't get damaged when you do that. Fuck him. We are going off-roading. What do you mean? He's like, watch this. So he actually waited for like a muddy day. Like it was raining, it was muddy. We drove to a construction site that was private property and off limits, but they didn't block the entrance. He drove the Jeep in, and for the next 15 minutes, we were driving the Jeep up these mud hills and down and all around, and there was fucking dirt and mud flying. It was basically the kind of stuff you would do in like one of those crazy motocross video games and shit, or that you go to one of those monster truck rallies and the monster trucks are doing it, and we did it in his Jeep. Because he was so mad at his dad, he's like, fuck this, I'll destroy this fucking car, I don't give a shit. He tells me I took my Camaro off-roading, I'll show him off-roading. So, my God, that car got so covered in fucking mud and dirt, right? So finally, at the end of the day, he's like, oh, I'm going to show up my dad. He drives the car up to my dad's place, the dad's, because he has to, he lives there. His dad looks at the car's completely covered with mud from top to bottom. Mark gets out of the car with the biggest smirk. I got him. He's got that look on his face. I got him, huh? I got him good. And Dad takes one look at the car. Okay. Okay, Mark. I see what you've done there. He goes, I had 2 questions for you. Number 1, how do you plan to get in and out of the Jeep without getting covered in mud when you go back into it? And number 2, who do you think's going to pay to wash that? Because I'm not giving you a dime. You're going to pay for it yourself. And Mark's face was like, I got him. To like, oh, like panic, like, oh. So it was funny. Mark had he made him hand wash the fucking Jeep right there with the hose. He had to hand wash the Jeep. It was disgusting. It was covered in mud by the time he was done. Oh, it was disgusting. But it was funny, too. I mean, this is what I mean. The stories were crazy, stupid shit, but it's funny stuff, too. So, all right. I've got one more story. One more good story for you. And unfortunately, everyone, I hate to say it, Hate Live did run late tonight. I could see we're almost out of time. So I'm going to tell this story, and it's pretty much going to be the end of Hate Live. We're not going to have time for live callers this week, and I do apologize for that. Sometimes we don't get to it, okay? And I did want to get to the live callers, but it looks like we're not going to because I'm going long here with Hate Live, the back of the day segment, but I am enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying it too. People on the stream seem to be loving it, okay? So there's not going to be any callers tonight. I apologize. But there will be one more story, okay? And then keep in mind, next time we do Hate Live, I promise we will do more callers. Okay. All right. So, final story. As I told you, we used to go out to a boat, my friend Mark's boat, and we would periodically drink and have fun and have girls out there. And, boy, I could tell you some stories, but I won't get too much into it tonight because we don't have enough time. I got some good stories. I have some more stuff I could tell you later on, but we won't get to it tonight. Some embarrassing stuff, but that'll be another night. So anyway, there's one particular story that I want to tell you about was a friend we had, okay? And let me put it to you this way. He was always a little unbalanced. He wasn't a bad guy. At heart, he wasn't a bad guy, okay? He just had some issues upstairs, and everyone kind of knew it. He would get angry for no reason. He would get upset. He would be uncertain of himself. He would cry. He had emotion. He was an emotional wreck. Okay? And just to give you perspective, he didn't want anyone to call him his real name. He wanted you to call him Beavis. Like Beavis and Butthead. He wanted to be called Beavis no matter what. Like, don't dare call him his real name. You have to call him by what he wants to be called, alright? So we called him Beavis. Fine, if that's what you really want to be called, we'll call you that. I don't know what the hell is your problem. You're out of your mind or whatever. So, he used to hang out with us and do stuff with us. And there was this one particular night, I think that, like, there was a girl or someone that he had asked. I don't remember the situation. Something had happened where he was, like, really upset. Really, really upset about something, right? And he was just like, I want to drink it all away. I want to just drink until I fucking pass out. We're like, dude, don't. Because if you drink too much, you're going to get sick. Now we're going to have to call the fucking ambulance to get your stomach pumped. Don't be stupid. Drink, but don't go nuts. So he's drinking. He's drinking and drinking. And we're all kind of, staying. And he keeps going. And then all of a sudden, we're all buzzed, right? So he's like, oh, they're buzzed. They can't stop me. So he starts pulling out like the big handle of tequila. I'm going to drink this. He's just like drinking and drink. No, stop. You're going to get sick. You're going to fucking get so out of your mind that you're going to, we're going to have to bring you to the hospital or whatever. He gets so upset. He's like, what the fuck, man? Who are you to tell me what to do in my life? Again, he's one of these people. He was emotionally unbalanced. The alcohol just made him worse. So he's like, now he's off the cuff. How dare we even look out for him or try to help him? He thought it was like an attack on him, right? So he's like, oh man, you're going to tell me what to do. Fuck you and fuck this and fuck this and fuck this, right? So we're getting into arguments. Like, dude, just calm down. I don't know what you're so pissed off about. You know what? You don't even care about me anyway. Fuck you and getting into fights with us and shit. And then, so now here's the thing. We used to be it was a marina, and at night all the boats would be docked there. Some people would actually stay and do night fishing and stuff, and other people would sleep on their boats, even though it's really not ideal. And we technically could be there because we owned the boat, but we couldn't have the alcohol, we couldn't have the stuff that we had, that we were underage. So we didn't want anyone to know that we were out there because there was potential that someone could find out what was going on, and get us into trouble. Wow, a bunch of underage kids out on a boat by themselves with no parental supervision drinking. That's not allowed. We could get into a lot of trouble. He starts leaving the boat. He's drunk as hell. He opens the door to the boat. He gets up. He's like, I'm going to get out of here. You guys don't care about me. And now he's trying to get off the boat and walk to the dock, and he's slipping, and his whole leg goes into the fucking water, and it's like he's going to drown. I'm like, motherfucker. So Mark and I are grabbing him. We're like, what the fuck is your problem, man? We pull him up out of the water. His shoe comes flying off onto the dock somewhere. He gets up, what the fuck, my shoe, you fuckers, my fucking shoe, my shoe. He's so like rage-induced drunk at this point. His face, I remember, was like beet red. It was like you could see veins popping out of his head. Like, God, this kid is out of control. We're gonna have to like deck him to knock him out or something because he's out of control. So we were trying to calm him down. He would not calm down, right? He jumps up. He goes, fuck you guys. And he runs off into the night. Right? And I looked and I said, we're not going to come after you. You're fucked. He's like, fuck you. He goes away. We literally waited like an hour. He never came back. We're like, where the fuck did he go? Like, he's out here, and it was cold. It was a cold night. I remember it was probably the fall. It was a cold fucking night. And we're like, where the fuck did he go? He never came back. He's got to be freezing his balls off out there. Like, what the hell's happening? So, what are we going to do? And finally, Mark and I decided we're just going to go look for him. Like, we have to at this point. Because at this point, it's been an hour. We're, like, not even drunk anymore. We're kind of coming down a little bit. And we're like, all right, we got to go find out where the hell this idiot went. Because, who knows? Did he run in front of a car and get hit? Did he fall in the fucking water somewhere else? We got to find him. We spent 2 fucking hours. 2 hours looking for this kid. Could not fucking find him anywhere. Like, where the fuck did he go? And eventually Mark and I were like, fuck, we have no idea where our friend is. And we looked for 2 hours and we can't find him. What do we do? I don't know. Do we call the cops? We don't know that he's in trouble. The cops, are going to find out that we were drinking. So eventually we both went back to the boat and passed out. Great, I know. Responsible, right? We really took care of our friend. He could have been in trouble, and instead of taking the heat for drinking, we didn't call the cops. I know. And again, these are the things I live with. These are the things I don't recommend that you do by any means. This is just my personal experiences from the past. So we wake up in the morning. It's like maybe 8 a.m. We're like, we got to get out of here. People are going to start showing up soon and see us here, and we're going to get in trouble. So we wake up, and we're like, we never found this kid. Where the fuck did he go? So I grabbed his fucking shoe, which was still soaked from falling in the water. Grabbed his fucking shoe. I said, let's find him. I'm going to make him eat his fucking shoe when we find him. We're walking, we're looking around. We finally find him. Guess where he was? Of all places, the dumbest kid ever. The entrance to the fucking marina, there's a gate, obviously, with a sign that says the name of the marina on it. He's sleeping behind the sign on the ground, huddled in a fetal position like this. We wake him up, and he's like, whoo, freezing, because he was out there all night by himself, right? Thank God he had the liquor in him to keep him warm, or else he might have died. I don't know what the fuck would have happened. Finally, I wake up, I say, you motherfucker. I say, you got us looking all night for you, because you had to act like a fool. And I took his fucking shoe, and I went, boom, and I just basically spiked his shoe into his face. I went, boom. It bounced off his face. He's like, I'm awake, I'm okay. I'm like, oh, what an asshole. You know, seriously. And when you have someone like that, you gotta be careful with him because that kid was very mentally unbalanced. Later on, he threatened to kill me for nothing, literally for nothing. Like one day he lost his mind and threatened to kill me. I said, so you're serious? You understand what you're saying to me? You're threatening to kill me. Because once you threaten to kill someone, that means not only will we never be friends again, I won't be able to have any interaction with you because I have to be basically like a life or death situation every time I see you, to the point where when I see you, I have to treat you like you're going to be an attacker. He's like, yes, I mean it. Fuck you. And I walked away. I never talked to the kid again. I saw him around from time to time. And I just said, fuck you. Don't talk to me. He did try to talk to me a couple times. Fuck you. You threatened to kill me. Fuck you. I want nothing to do with your mentally deranged ass. You're going to be doing that kind of shit. No, I got to live my life. You're going to fucking threaten to kill someone face to face. You're out of your mind. I want nothing to do with you. Do I really think he was serious about it? No, but the thing was, the kid had no, like, authority figure. So he thought he could just say or do whatever he wanted and get away with it. And for me, I was like, no, I'm not going to let him just bully me like that and say shit like that and get away with it. And so I think that might have been the one time in his life where he actually had a consequence for something that he did. I don't know if he ever wised up and became an adult. I don't know anything about it. After a couple of years when I was in college, I lost contact with him and never heard from him again. So it is what it is, right? All right. Wow, what a back in the day segment that was. I hope that you enjoyed that. That was some really, stories that I saved up for a while until I got to a time where I thought you guys would really enjoy them. So I hope that you did enjoy those stories, okay? And that's going to be it for Hate Live tonight. I want to remind everyone that next week we are not doing Hate Live. Next week, we're actually doing Ask the King, where you guys submit your questions to me on my forums, thekingofhate.com. There's already a thread up for it. Submit your questions for Ask the King next week, and I will be pulling those and answering those live on stream and on YouTube as well, next Thursday when it comes by. So when we do return to Hate Live, which I'm not going to make any promises because I know there are a couple crazy weeks coming up, I will let you know when it will return, but when I do, there will be callers. We'll try to get a full segmented show. Today there was so much important stuff for me to cover in the early show that it was worth it for me to go long on that and get those feelings out there. So thanks everyone for the great attendance. Again, another night we had great stream attendance, and actually, past few episodes have had really great attendance on YouTube as well. Thanks a lot for that. Hopefully this will follow suit, and hopefully I will see you next week for Ask the King. That is going to wrap it up tonight for Hate Live, everyone. Live from Washington, thanks a lot. I'm Darkside Phil. Have a good one. Hope to see you for new gameplay tomorrow, and I hope to see you next time on Hate Live. Peace out. Have a good night. God damn it, that's not the right thing. Is this it? There. Well, let me get rid of this. Good night, everybody.